Even if I move the camera, I still cut my head off. It's just like a thing. It's like wherever I go, I cut my head off. I'm here. We're doing core and some mobility today. So I thought that I would just shift the camera down. Like this might be a little bit too down. Let me check. Yeah, that's a bit much. Okay, let's just shift it up a bit. And what I'm going to do is move the mat back a little bit. But the light is super great because it's so close, right? This is such a large space. It's very large and dark. So this is amazing. Bonjour, Cheryl. Cheryl's not here again. She is at work today. So she's going to be joining for the live. And it's our last day today. So sorry, I'm itching my nose. We are tying up fall into fitness. So that is it. So once you've reached this day, take some time, congratulate yourself. You have been mobile. Hey, Gibber, you've been mobile for 4 weeks or maybe a little bit longer, depending if you stretched out the 5 days, depending where you're starting. Sometimes 5 days is a little bit much. So you're kind of pushing it into the next week and then just following along, which I think is amazing. So yeah, get your mats out. I have another cushy mat underneath. I always find that these yoga mats, they're kind of not thick enough and it always gets into my spine. We're going to be doing lots of moves today. The first move, we're going to do it 4 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, same exercise. Then for the rest of the exercises, we're going to do the ab exercise just 3 times. And then we're going to go into a mobility. So as we were saying, Kelly Voss was amazing. And she sent us some information on some of the stuff that she's been up to. So not to like point out anybody specifically, but she said she actually found somebody who's really amazing on Instagram. And Kelly, if you want to share that, that would be great too. I wrote it, but I left it upstairs. But I did check out her page and she looks really cool. She talks about like pelvic health and all that good stuff and strength and mobility. So just a comment on Tobias. One of these things would be really great if you had this in your life. So this is a lacrosse ball, and I do a lot of rolling, and so does Cheryl with this. It's a really dense ball. We had these made up in Timmins for our athletes. Lisa uses them a lot of the time. And we kind of put them into those gnarly places and kind of roll out in them. So before we get started, just to show you a really great way for working on the arches, if you do want to use a ball like this for stretching it out, is just to put it underfoot. Now, let me extend that leg down. And you can just kind of roll it and you can sit it and it gets a really nice stretch. So again, I have bunions in my feet. So a lot of the time it's the ligaments and the joints and stuff like that. They get tight, they get pulled over, and then they kind of get stuck in those positions too. So using something like that is a really great tool to kind of stretch out that long ligament. I know a lot of people have plantar fasciitis, and that's kind of when that ligament gets into a bad state. I also have another client in Timmins, um, and she gave me a real good trick too, because she has a little bit of issues with her feet too. It kind of sounds funny, but stay with me here. And I was practicing it, and I'm not really great at it. So I guess I have to practice more. So it's actually about drawing the alphabet with your toe. So when you're here, you're going like A, B, yeah, and C. I know, I did C instead of B on the second one. So, she uses that for foot health. Now, the funny thing about this is Kelly Voss is a retired nurse, and my other client is a retired nurse who's still a nurse educator in the area. So these I do. Kelly was like, I don't know if I have medical back. You do, right? You were nurse practitioners and nurses, and you saw a lot of stuff when you were doing your job. So thanks so much, Tobias. I hope that helps a little bit. And then Kelly, if you do have that name, you can maybe type it into the chat. I did check out her Instagram, but the brain fog, I can't remember what her handle was at this point. It was a long one too. So I'm going to put that away. We're not going to use that today. This would be a great thing to go through too, though, when we do a different program outside of these 4-week series. So let's see if that stays there. So nothing super fancy today besides coffee, and a congratulations that you guys were able to make it through. I hope that you like this series. And again, if you have any suggestions that you'd like to see when the series are not on, we don't have a set anything for the next series yet. We just have not gone to that yet. I'm hoping it's about a 2-week launch. But the great thing about YouTube is that these programs are still here. And as we do more on here, the platforms are going to build so you can go back and forth. So, what time are we running at right now? We are running at 10:14. So I'm still going to use the timer. It's going to be a little bit loud because it's super close right now. So maybe I'll just take it down a notch or two. So we went through the ball, we went through the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I'm going to go through something called just a basic sit up or crunch. Now I'm going to grab a dumbbell because I think as I get into this, I would like to add a little bit of weight onto this. Okay, so we're going to go 45 seconds times 4 on this one. If you guys want to do a full heel up and then just make sure you tuck your low back right there, roll down. If you don't want to do that, you can do some small crunches, kind of whatever works for you. We're just going to kind of warm stuff up and just kind of get our mind into day 20. I just want to clack that wrist a little bit. Let me press start. Trish, Cheryl, whoever else is out there on the live. I found my mug that Trish got me at the gym when I went up last weekend, which is awesome. So again, if you are starting in the upright position, you're going to inhale, pull tall. As you exhale, roll down, and then you can peel up or do some crunches. Now, I'm not going to put the dumbbell on right away because I'm always going to revert back to Pilates. Like in Pilates, I want you guys to focus on trying to squeeze your rib cage up and through. You know, when you squeeze, you can see some of the different muscles come off here. Sometimes the lat fires off as well. So there's a lot working here. Inhale to exhale just to get even a sit up. Honestly, I've worked with people who were not able to sit up anymore. They literally could not sit up in bed to look front forward. They had to like hold on to themselves or pull themselves up. They kind of just lost that skill somewhere along the way. Inhale to exhale. And again, rolling that back down. One of the newer clients that I worked with in this area came in with that issue, does not have that issue anymore. Trust me. Hey, Tori, how are you? We just started. So hopefully you're joining us. We're just doing some sit-ups right now. I'm going to put a dumbbell right on top of my body. You can see my feet trying to kick out a little bit on this one. Inhale to exhale to up and through. There we go. So again, I really want you to try and control your lay downs as well. So that's would be the negative portion of this exercise. So you're just slowly lowering down, and then we're going to peel up and through. So again, I'm feeling this in my core because I'm really focusing on trying to pinch the tips of my rib cage together as I really dig that lower back in. So we're just kind of rolling it down and again, peeling it up and through. You got her. So Thanksgiving's coming up next weekend. Hoping you guys have something planned. Stop there. And I'm just noticing that there's like red stains all over my pants, and I'm not sure. It looks like a berry stain or something. Dressed real fancy. It's casual Friday. I got the joggers back on. I love these joggers. I know. I love these joggers. There's a hole in the bum. They're super old. You know, you got that one pair, right? Inhale to exhale. I have these 2 pairs of jeans. I've had them since I think Bonner is, well, I think since he became a human on the planet. Like I think and one of them, because like that means that they're like 9 years old, right? Maybe I had them before too. Um, I pulled them up, you know, several months ago, and like the whole band ripped off the back, but I'm still wearing them. I'm still wearing them. My 2 favorite pairs of jeans and then my pair of jogging pants that I love so much. So again, starting to feel a little bit of warmth in the core. We're going to roll it down and then pop it up to peel. You got her. So we're going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to move us into the bear pose. Right? That's the one where we're kind of on all fours, and then we're elevated onto our tiptoes. So you're going to have to be working the soles of your feet as well. Try and keep the dumbbell on your body if you can. That's going to add extra weight. It's when we start to shoot it up that it actually helps us leverage our torsos off the mat. So again, I'm really trying to push my heels into the floor. I'm not really connecting the toes on this one. I am trying to make sure too, though, that the hips, so back here, 1, 2, that they're staying level on the mat so that we're not heaving and hoeing and any kind of strange twisting motion, because that's going to get right into your lower back. And the lower back needs to stay strong on this one because we have quite a bit of core, but we also have some strings of mobility. So let's finish off these sit-ups or crunches, whatever is working best for you. I'm going to put down the dumbbell and I'm going to flip over and show you the bear pose. So I think the only thing with this is it's your toe health. So I'm not wearing shoes today. Kind of wanted to stretch in my toes as well. So if your wrists are a little bit craggy, mine are actually a little bit, they're a bit achy today. You can always come up onto your knuckles. I want your knees underneath your hips. Pull your shoulder blades apart instead of compressing them. And then can you just elevate your knees off of the floor? There we go. And that's all you need to do. So it's a real small lift off of the floor. So I'm kind of having some fun right now. I'm pushing into my big toe. I'm getting a nice stretch, right? Trying to keep that big toe as straight as I can because it wants to deviate inward over that second toe. This exercise is tough for me. I'm feeling it in my quads. My legs are always working on this one. I'm getting a little bit of a shake in my arms as well. And we still have 15 seconds on this. So this is going to be a tough string for me. We all have our different challenges, don't we? Inhale to exhale. And just this bear one, oh man, it is so tough for me. Transition down. I'm just going to sit back because honestly, my quads are on fire right now. So I'm just going to stretch out my legs a little bit. That's from yesterday's leg program. Absolutely. Like it was just enough. We're going to come back up for round 2 of 3 on this. I'm going to stay on my knuckles and just elevate the knees. So again, I'm focusing on pulling my shoulder blades out. Try not to lift the knees up too high. And then I'm going to try and show you to pull that belly in. You got her. So I'm trying to bring oh my God, my quads. I'm trying to bring my core in towards my spine, my front core, right? So my belly button. Give me 1 sec with these quads. Yikes. Bring it back up. Right? Sometimes it's just a little bit of a break. So you're able to come back into this a little bit fresher. So again, I'm really happy if your wrists and your shoulders are directly in line. Oh my God, these are the longest 45 seconds. Okay. Oh, starting to sweat now. Okay, so the knuckle thing's good. I think I'm gonna try a little bit of the wrist thing here, Tori. So I'm gonna put my palms down now. So same thing though, right? I'm gonna put a soft bend in my elbows, up to the toes, and I'm just gonna kind of sit there for a second. It doesn't really take anything away from the exercise. Going on your knuckles, everything is still a little bit challenging. I need to drop for a sec, guys. I'm so sorry. It's my quads today. I'm going to bring it back up. How are you guys doing? I always fail at this exercise. This is like, there's a lot of things that are not right. I know every damn time I've never been able to do all of the series of these. I'm always dropping out of these things just to give myself a little bit of a respite. I'm going to stay for those last 10 seconds. Again, focusing on pushing through my palms. Caramba. Oh, down we go. And then we move into our first stretch. And that's going to be a cat-cow. So we're going to stay here. So your 4th round on this isn't a core, it's a stretch. So we're going to go either on the knuckles, on the hands. You can even go on your elbows. Knees are under hips. And you're just going to twist and we're going to arch. And then we're going to reverse that. We're going to gaze up, push our chest down, push our belly down, our booty out. So to reverse that, guys, you're going to tuck your tailbone. So you're starting at your base. Everything's going to cascade, gaze into your belly. Bring it up with your gaze. Follow by sticking your tailbone up to the ceiling and then reverse that. Curl the tailbone under, right? Engage the core, gaze in. Then gaze up. Push your glutes out. Right on. One more time. Inhale. Big arch up because we're going to go back into a work after this. So I want you to really get these nice deep stretches in and then come back to neutral. Awesome. Okie dokes. So we're going to go right onto the ground now and we're going to work our lower back. So we're going to do that child or the hyperextension after your child pose. So this is the one where your forehead is on the ground and your hands are at your side. I'm going to ask you to peel up your legs while gazing. And then I'm just going to ask you to give me a little flutter kick if you're able to. Okay, so we're going to bring it up, look up, and then a tiny flutter kick. Now, if this is all too much for you, what you can do is just stay stable, or you can just go down and then come back up. Okay, it's week 4, so a little bit of a different program here today and some different options on some of these standard moves that we've kind of worked on, not only over the summer, but along this last series. So I want you to try and keep your gaze up, 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 pull your shoulders back and down in towards your spine and really try and flutter from your thigh bone. So up here, trying to get some leverage of your thighs off that mat. And then you can drop it down. If you do want to stretch on this one, you can push yourself up and you can just sink into a little bit of a child pose, because I know that builds a lot of pressure and tension in your back and in your glutes. So again, let's start here. We're going to look up and peel up. And if you're able, a little bit of a flutter. I know you can't see too much in these pants now, but if you push on your own low back, oh, you can feel those muscles. And if you go into your booty, right, that upper glute, kind of inner, you can really feel the pressure and tension. Again, we're trying to pull your shoulder blades back, and you can just keep those hands down at your sides. I find a lot of the time the mistakes that people are making on this, again, they hinge at the knees instead of really flexing your legs and then trying to pull up as much of your quad or your thigh that you can. Right on. So much work on that low back. I'm going to push up with you guys, toes together, knees apart. And I'm going to do like a shifting from side to side. Makes me feel like I can elongate that lower spine a little bit that's sitting right on top of those glutes. All right, last round on this. We gaze. You're either holding an isometric, or if you want, you can do a nice little flutter kick. I like to point my toes. Some people flex their toes down, right? I keep them pointed. Whew. So again, I'm shifting down and back with my shoulder blades. I'm definitely feeling the workload on this. I'm going to ask you to just go into child pose and stay there for that fourth round. So we've done 3 of these guys already. The fourth one is child pose. And again, that's going to give you a little bit of time to stretch out the lower back. Look up, look up. You got her, almost there. Oh my God, my glutes and low back are just on fire right now. Drop the legs down, hands to armpits, push up. And I'm going to face you guys this direction for a sec. So your toes are together, your knees are apart, and I just want you to shift front forward, extending your arms, right? So I'll show you on this angle. Knees are wide, toes together, glutes go back, arms go forward, and then just push your belly to the mat. So right now I can feel a lot of stretch in my back, right? That low back. And again, a lot of people walk over in this stretch, getting a little bit of a lateral or a side movement, and definitely feels different in that spine. I love to push my belly into the ground because that really allows my lumbar to open up more on this one. But if you do child pose a certain way because you're used to it, I just want you to hold child pose, work on your breathing, because we're going to move in to the next exercise. So push yourself up, palm forward. This one's tough. Okay, this one is tough. These are crab taps. If you want to start on your elbows and do it this way, you can. Okay, that's an option, because I know what's going to happen. Some folks will not like being up on their wrists, and that's fair. Okay, so if you don't want to be up on the wrists, that's cool. You could even do something like this, but it's always great to try. So movements like this, I like them. And you can see, right? You can see how the core starts to activate when you do lift up right and through. So you know what I feel with the big thing on this one? It's balance for me. So when I lift off, right foot, left hand, I feel like I want to tip over. So that's almost like a bonus in this one. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, this doesn't feel like it's core. It absolutely is. I can feel my core. Right? If Cheryl was here, you could probably see all those muscles activating. See how I want to jump over? Right on. I would let this go and just kind of shake out your wrists a little bit. So again, I understand the wrist thing is tough. You're not going to love all these exercises, but you can transition onto your elbows and then try and see if you can move side to side. Maybe I'll show you that one right now. So we're here and we're moving side to side, right? You got her. So again, lots of core. The muscles are still firing. If this is too much for you too, you can pick up one leg at a time. Okay. There's always modifications, especially when we start moving into this type of move. Because I mean, The arms are back. So maybe if you have a shoulder impingement, it's not as comfortable, right? You're having to really put a lot of pressure on the wrists. And depending on kind of how you're feeling today, you gotta keep going, reach and tap. So hopefully you're starting to settle into the balance component a little bit more. We're gonna try one more round and then we're gonna move into those wrist stretches, the ones that Cheryl showed us before. There is some relief for the wrists. They've done so much work with the forearms for grip strength this week. I know you can always put your hands out too, right? That might give you a little bit of a more comfortable position for your hands. So again, it's only 3. So thank you for staying with us with these moves. Always trying to throw some new stuff in, right? Love it or leave it. It is new. And hey, if you don't want to repeat the crab, Kim, you don't have to. I'm sure Noah's going to love this. Who doesn't want to reverse crab in their life, right? You got her. So the higher the hips, the more challenging it is to stay stable. And the tighter your feet or hands are, the less surface area or the base is. So that's going to make it a little bit more challenging as well. I'm just going to get you guys to flip over and we're going to do some of those wrist stretches. So let's put our fingers backwards. And I just want you guys to lean in. So you can start up wherever you're comfortable and then slowly lean back and get a little bit of a stretch. So you can even see the bicep kind of firing there a little bit. Again, don't let your elbows clock hyperextensive. Feeling a little bit of a stretch in the wrists as well. If it's too much, you guys just back out of it and then come back into it. Okay, the second one is we're going to reverse that. Well, I can feel these right away. And then just kind of sit down on top of that. My hands are shaking just going into this stretch right now. The muscles are tight. Again, if you can shift back a little bit. I don't have too much on my wrists right now. There's not very much mobility in this stretch. Perfect. Moving into 2 exercises in one. It's a double crunch and then a toe tap. So we are going to do our best to come here. We're going to lay down and then tap our toes. Okay. So if coming up is too much, lay down and then tap your toes. So it would be a this to this. Okay. You got her? Double crunch, and then touch the toes. Okay. So you can do double crunch and then touch your toes. So whatever works best for you. Again, I know that you're coming into this a little bit stronger than you were on weeks 1 and 2 and 3. So trying to bring in some combo moves and you can do, kind of a hovery double crunch with kind of a pike snap toe touch. Or if you want to do more of a lay down double crunch and then a lay down touch the toes. Okay. Lots of options here. not an easy combo. And again, feeling how long that endurance of the lower back will hang in there. You can just bring your knees in towards your, I was going to say your back, your chest. I guess it is towards your back. You just can't see it. So how are you guys doing? I can feel my hip flexors from yesterday too. All the things. I know. Let's go. So it's a double crunch. You can lay down, touch your toes. That's a nice one too. Especially, I find that my back is getting a little bit tired with the pikes. I can pull those double crunches okay, but then the pike is a little bit challenging on the back. So if you want to mix it up, you could always do a more challenging first exercise, then pop it up for that one toe touch. Double crunch. If you want to stay with the pikes, pike it up. You got her, whatever you need, right? Pike it up. You got her. Oh, they're tough, but they're good. And you know what the thing is? We're used to doing 4, aren't we? And we're only doing 3 today. So maybe keep those legs straight. The stamina might be a little bit different because you only have 1 more and then we're going to stretch. Okay. So again, I'm just going to kind of rock that body side to side. Take a big deep breath and just try and go for whatever is the best on this round. Double crunch. Try to stay with those pikes. You got her. You can use 1 leg or 2 on any of these moves as well. The big thing is too that I don't want the hip flexors to fire off. So we're trying to really be able to contract the low belly, snap, and pull. You got her. I know things are getting a little bit weary, so maybe moving a little bit slower right now. Okay, but trying to keep our head in the game. We have about 10 seconds left. Trish, up and through. Trish loves core. Cheryl loves core. Tori is getting stronger. I'm sure she's loving this core, right? You got her. Stretch it out. And this is our stretch for this one. So you can go one leg or two. Right now I have my left leg. I'm just going to pull that knee into chest, relaxing my shoulders down, right? Don't worry about the beat. We're still moving through here. That was just a 15 seconds transition. So you can roll that leg around. Again, pulling it in nice and deep. You can place the left leg down, pull the right leg in, roll it around a little bit. Maybe get some hamstring in that back leg when I rotate it around and through. And then you can pull those knees deep in towards your chest and just rock from side to side. So again, just taking a little bit of pressure out of your lower back, out of the hip flexors, and hopefully recharging you for the next exercise. You ready to go? It's a great one. It can be challenging though, just because of the hips. So these are the butterfly sit-ups. So we place the soles of our feet together, hands at or around the head. You guys ready to go? You're going to pop it up and then back down. So I think the hard part about this is, obviously it's tough to keep the legs up. Okay. Can you get down and then up? It's tough to keep the feet connected. So like the pinky toe pad, the big toe pad, the heel. And then sometimes you have to be careful because this is an exercise that can cause clacking or grinding. You got her. Almost there. So again, you're going to pop it up and then bring it back down. Do you feel your lower core engaged? If you take your hands off just for a sec, okay? Can you feel that your lower core is working on this one? Yeah? Okay. We have about 10 seconds of extra movement on this one. So just stay patient with me. It may feel a bit longer. It is a little bit longer. Starting to feel that. Are you guys able to bring your feet a little bit further to stretch the core and then pop it up and through? Inhale to exhale to up. Almost there. Let's go. Squeezing that. You got her. So you can roll those knees right inside if you want. Now, guys, if you have a lot more juice than I do today on this Friday, you guys know that you can pop up even higher on these too. If you are having problems pushing your feet together, you can always lock them to get that knee position and then go up and through as well. Okay, so if you are having a hard time keeping your feet together, inhale to exhale. Yeah, so the lower you go, the more challenging it is to maintain that low back, because we don't want that low back to be lifting off, right? You got to keep it neutral in the ground and just kind of use that nice range of motion. So again, the hand is supporting the head. So the head's falling back to the hands. The feet are pressing together. And if you can get those legs a little bit lower, you're going to have a little bit more work having to pull them up and through because they're right down towards the ground. Again, if your hips are clacking, bring your knees in a little bit closer and just take a sec and then just stretch it out. So, my gosh, we have one more round of that. That's not too bad, eh? It's really not that bad. A little bit of core with a little bit of mobility. It's a great way, I think, to end the program. You guys did have a big week 3. Let's go for it. And a big week 4. And thank you to everybody for sending in up and through those touch bases, whether it was on this platform, on text, or on Facebook Messenger. So many portholes. I want you to try and bring those heels back in. Can you feel those inner thighs getting a work too, right? A real big hip opener on this one. So again, pushing the soles of the feet together, breathing in, and then breathing out as we come up and through. We're almost there. Squeeze your core. Make sure your ribs are not pulling apart, right? We want to keep everything engaged. And again, making sure that your neck feels supported. All right, so for this one, we're going to go wide with our knees, and I just want you to roll around, okay? And you can go one direction, you can go 2. If you like this stretch, you can go 1 foot up, 2 feet up. Don't worry about the beat. And we're moving into 45 seconds of stretch. So I have my feet up and I'm pushing my knees down in towards the ground. It's getting a great stretch in my hip. I'm getting a little bit in my groin as well, right? If you want to just keep your feet together too, you can wiggle back and forth. All these are kind of like yoga-ish stretches, right? We got a little bit of happy baby, and on that one that they rock from side to side, pulling the heel down in towards the floor, which is going to stretch out the hips as well as the lower back. Again, if those don't work for you, you can just kind of roll your knees, right? So the head of your thigh bones rolling in your hip and pelvis, and that's going to take out a little bit of pressure from your hips. You got her. All right. So moving on to the last exercise, we're going to burn it out with a bicycle. So if you want to do a low pro bicycle on the ground, you can do that. Giving you the options of keeping one foot on the ground. You can even stay in tabletop if you want to work the lower core, but extending out is a little bit too much to do both movements. And if you want to come on up with a ball roll, we can tilt ourselves back, hold the angle, and then bring ourselves into the bicycle. So again, be aware, excuse me, that's the coffee talking. Be aware of your lower back. If you want to take this up a little bit more, you can lay down and then pull up. Would kind of look like a double crunch, but we're putting in the rotation. So as that knee comes in, I want you to rotate, and that's going to pop off at the obliques, right? So those wraparound moves, we've hit every part of your core today. We got lower back, we got obliques, and we got that great front core as well. Inhale to exhale. So I'm trying to work depth and rotation on this one. Sometimes these are pretty fun when you work speed. You can kind of stretch a front forward fold if you want. You can grab onto the toes too and just try and bring the part of your head to the floor as you inhale to exhale. And we're just going to round that spine up, roll the shoulders back, and I want you guys to go back to whatever bicycle that you were doing on the last round. Now, unless you have to modify because, things are starting to fail. Maybe you're just starting to get into this right now. You're like, oh yeah, core, let's go. So big twist. You got her. I'm going to lay down for a sec. And this is a burner too. If you're putting speed on these, I need you to make sure that your hips are staying stable, whether you're on the ground, or upright. That's the sick burn, Mitch. That's the one that we were talking about, P. Inhale to exhale, rotate. It's a twist, twist, twist. You got her, right? We're going for that level of uncomfortable 3 seconds. And we're going to do, again, a forward fold. Heart rate's up on that one. We have one last one. We're almost done. You literally have one more exercise and then a couple minutes of stretch. I know. Just when you think. So let's twist and pump it. So again, you do you. What works for you on this last one? I can even feel a little bit of pressure in my knees. That's from yesterday. Just holding my leg up, right? So what I'm going to do to correct that is I'm going to try and track my leg really straight and flex it on the extension. That's going to give my knee a little bit better health because I'm contracting up at my quad. So there are all these little things that start to come up from one day to the next. All right, my core is working super hard. You can see my back as well, the muscles in there, right? Holding me up, kind of bulging out in that low back area. So again, I'm going to focus on those twists. Right on. Chin to chest, spread the legs, okay? Probably the only time that I tell you to curl your spine, I tell you to curl your spine. You're going to tuck your chin to your chest, dip your head to the floor. Let's do a forward fold. Inhale to exhale, dive it through. So I want you to allow the crown of your head to fall into the ground and just kind of exhale. I know right now, my low back, it is tight. So that's the area that I'm inhaling. And as I exhale, I'm just trying to melt it front forward. I'm going to walk myself over to my left leg right now. And then again, I'm going to try and marker off my shoulders and then sink my belly down there as well. Get a little bit of hamstring on that. I'm going to pull that toe, get a little bit of calf here. Don't mind this. You're going to hear the beep, 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 right? Because that was our walk it back to center. 4th set of our 7 set. There we go. Perfect. 3 beeps mean you have completed a full 4 weeks of training, 5 days per week, or however that looked like. Press it up. Again, I'm gonna get you to face the camera for a sec. This is my left leg. Can you cross over with your right? Chest is up tall, so your spine's not rounded. This is my left elbow. I'm gonna lock it over my left or my right knee. You can grab it as well. Chest up, and then just look behind you. Ooh, I got a crack on that one. Nice. We'll release back. Okay. Again, just a few stretches. I really encourage you. This is my left leg, it goes over my right. Grab with your right hand or your right elbow, chest up first as you rotate. Really encourage you guys, if you can, stay on the mat a little bit longer. This is it. This is our swan song. We hope that you enjoyed this platform. Thank you, everybody, for partaking and subscribing. We will be back. We will be back. Release. And just give me a little bit of a shakeout. So, yeah, continue to stay in touch. Continue to make your comments because we can see them live as soon as they come in, right? Even though we don't respond sometimes right away, we still see them because they come up on the notifications. So, thanks so much. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's clean up our work areas and let's go have our shakes. Bye, guys.